I'm Denha, and you're watching FYI. We live in a unique area where we're surrounded by water. These lakes can hold many unknowns, and there are people right here in our region searching for the history at the bottom of the Great Lakes. For decades, the Great Lakes Shipwreck Festival has been bringing stories shrouded in mystery to life.
They have some fabulous presentators that come in and talk about wrecks, dive destinations. It's just kind of a cool thing for diving, to bring everybody together to see what's going on and out there and available for divers.
We have different pieces of equipment that I design and build from scratch, and that allows us to search the Great Lakes.
With the right equipment and precautions, the truth can be unlocked.
There's really two reasons why they will call us to do a dive operation, and one is either an evidence recovery, so whether it be somebody threw a safe in the lake or in a river, or a handgun used in a crime, and the other is body recovery.
Shipwreck diving is history, so we go in the water and it's just seeing something that's stopped in time and being able to go inside of it and learn about it and know that at one point in time it was on top of the water, and now you're looking at the history of it underwater.
We came across the William Young in a side scan operation, so that's probably the most interesting, was actually coming across the shipwreck that everybody knew was there but didn't know exactly where, and we were able to find that documented.
This enabled me to find relics and artifacts and stuff like that. So that's my passion, is diving and finding stuff that has something to do with history.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly with more news and information. The Humane Society of Huron Valley, or HSHV, fosters a love for animals at a young age, creating lifelong bonds. Take a look as they introduce our youngest residents to some of the shelter's finest.
Hi!
Reading, crafts, and furry friends are all on the itinerary at HSHV every Thursday at 10:30 a.m.
The Little Paws Storytime is a 60-minute program where families or a caregiver can bring one of their children ages 2 to 5, and they come and participate in stories that relate to animal themes, as well as sensory items and lots of animal interaction here at the shelter.
The little ones enjoy some animal-themed activities before getting up close and personal with the adoptable pets.
One thing we always include is an animal interaction, and this is usually a dog that's within our shelter. And we bring the dog in to really let the kids engage with an animal here, but also to help them learn a little bit about how to safely approach and handle animals. We also have sensory activities, so we have things, such as Play-Doh or just a lot of tactile, hands-on activities that the kids can engage in, but are also animal-related and fun. We take a tour through the shelter so the families are able to come and see some of our cats as well too, and just learn more about what we do here. Starting at a very young age with animals can really help build empathy and teach empathy, which will later encourage them to be empathetic towards humans and animals, and which is good for everybody in the world.
For more on programs and services at the Humane Society of Huron Valley, visit hshv.org. As the weather changes, you will see more and more people walking to their next destination. But as a pedestrian, there are some safety tips you should keep in mind as you travel around the area. Learn about the responsibility of the pedestrian in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hi, I'm Officer Jamie Adkins with the Ann Arbor Police Department, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about pedestrian safety. Now, we all know here in the city of Ann Arbor, vehicles are supposed to stop for pedestrians at crosswalks. However, here are some tips that you can do as a pedestrian to help keep yourself safe when crossing the street. Make sure that you stand clear of bushes, of buses, of parked cars, garbage cans, so that drivers are able to see you at the crosswalk. Also, at night, make sure you're wearing bright colored clothing or reflective materials so that you're more readily visible to vehicles. And also make sure that you're crossing in well-lit areas. Be careful at crossings. Cross streets at marked crosswalks or intersections. Obey traffic signals such as walk and don't walk signs. Look left, look right, look left again when you're crossing, just like you were taught in kindergarten. Most importantly, look across all lanes of traffic and visually clear each lane before crossing. And lastly, put away those smartphones and pay attention to where you're crossing. Thank you, and keep yourself safe.
Families can be difficult, but as much as you try to distance yourself from those hard to deal with or over-the-top relatives, they can always find a way to creep back into your life. For two siblings living a quiet existence, their lives are turned upside down during an unanticipated family reunion. Joining me is director Cassie Mann of the Ann Arbor Civic Theater's production of Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike. Welcome to the show, Cassie.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about the show and why you wanted to direct it?
Well, it's a comedy, first and foremost.
It's very funny.
Yes, I was just reading scripts and I'd heard about it, and I read it and I was laughing out loud. And it's just so funny. And the characters are great. It's 6 characters. They're all diverse. It's an ensemble piece, and it's people of various ages, which is always important to me. So by the time I'd finished reading the script, I thought, oh, I have to do this. It's just, yeah, it just speaks to me on many levels.
So how does it feel to be working in a different facet at the Civic Theater now? I mean, you were a director before. You would direct shows.
Yeah, I
here
directed and acted in all kinds of things, but you know, then I retired as program director, and I never really left. So I immediately started volunteering. I was on the play selection committee, and I'm still part of their education committee. So it's a little bit different because, you know, instead of having to do like 90% of the stuff when I worked there, when I direct. Now I'm pretty much just directing, and Alex and everybody else does the other stuff.
Oh, that's nice. It's kind of a nice change of pace for you to be there and be around everyone, but be doing your own sort of thing too. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about the show? So it's kind of, there's some Chekhov in there.
Well, the funny thing is that the playwright Christopher Durang named these characters after, except for Spike, after Chekhov characters. And the premise is just a little bit that the siblings' parents were Chekhov fans, so that's why they named their kids these. But it really doesn't have, you don't have to know anything about Chekhov to totally enjoy the show. There are some little references and some, you know, that people who are familiar with Chekhov will sort of like kind of appreciate a little more, but that's just it. That's
oh yeah, the show is going to be funny no matter what.
Yeah, and it really is about these siblings and, you know, how they navigate middle age, and one went off and became famous, and the other 2 stayed home and took care of the sick parents, and so there's some resentments, and then the movie star sister comes home for the weekend, and she brings her very young boyfriend, and then there's a pretty neighbor who stirs up some jealousy, and then this kind of crazy psychic housekeeper throw, you know, chaos into the mix. So it's just a crazy fun time over like a weekend.
Yeah.
Formerly quiet farmhouse in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because so the movie star sister is the one actually that like owns the house.
Yes, she owns the house. There's a little conflict there. She comes home and announces she wants to sell the house because she's sick of paying for it, and they can just go out and get jobs, and they're gas. They don't know what to do with their lives. That's a little nod to Chekhov, as these 2 siblings kind of sit around and don't really know what to do with their lives, but don't really do much to affect any change. So the sister comes home and forces them to face their lives, and that the idea that change has to happen. They have to move forward.
Yeah, the weird thing about those characters is almost like, where do you start at that age?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Right. You know, I mean, the little neighbor, the young girl who's the neighbor next door, suggested maybe they could get jobs at the CVS pharmacy. Like, oh my God! You know, so it's very funny. There's like the humor is just prevalent throughout. But you know, people will absolutely connect and feel.
Oh, you can relate.
To many
it's a
of these
relatable
characters.
Story.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So talk about tickets, because you have adult, senior, and student ticket prices, right?
Right. So Thursday night's fun. It's a pay what you can at the door.
Okay.
Reserve tickets are the usual prices, but at the door, if you come up to get your tickets, that's pay what you can. And that's a great addition for people who are like don't
Is
fall
that
into.
something newer that
They started that this year.
Yeah.
And it's been very successful. Tickets, you're going to catch me out on not really knowing. That's why I don't work there anymore. I don't know the prices.
There are, so like adults are obviously going to be the most expensive.
Yes, and
You
then
get a
we do have senior
discount.
rates, and then we have really good student rates. So like almost half the price of the full price tickets. So, and that's students of anywhere. So that's, I think that one way or another, this show is affordable for anybody who wants to come and see it.
So when is it?
Yeah, the show runs March 14th through the 17th at the Arthur Miller Theater. Performances 7:30 on Thursday, and then 8 o'clock on Friday and Saturday evenings, and then there's a matinee at 2 o'clock on Sunday.
The interesting thing I was reading when I was reading the press release for this is that there's some sort of tie-in with the Huron River Watershed Council.
Yes, that's our community partner. So a small plot point in the play is that one of the characters, Vanya, writes a play that they do a little bit of. So it's a play within a play. And, and he bases it off a play from Chekhov's The Seagull. And it has to do with climate change and what has happened when we've destroyed the planet, and there are molecules rise up to bemoan the fact that we haven't taken care of the planet. And interestingly, Chekhov, that is a theme in many of Chekhov's plays, the environment, way back,
before anyone was thinking about the environment.
Yeah, he was thinking about it. So we thought that made a good tie-in to some community efforts for to improve and clean the environment. And the Huron River Watershed Council is our community partner. So we kind of have a tie-in there, but we've gotten other environmental organizations to supply material. There'll be some experts during, before, and at intermission and after the show to answer questions, give people tips about how they can, just as citizens, help improve the planet. So that's kind of our tie-in and our little shout out to.
That's amazing. Yeah. Are you doing that with other shows too, or is it kind of like the first one?
No, I mean,
it just depends.
It depends.
Yeah.
We just did Oliver, and we did Food Gatherers, a collaboration with Food Gatherers, and had people bring, food goods to performances. Then there was a collection.
So it's just nonprofits working with nonprofits.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're just about out of time, but why do you think people should come see your version?
Well,
I'll say the name, but I always mess it up.
It's Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike, and no matter what you say when you order tickets, that'll get you tickets. But you should come to see it. Everybody, these days especially, everybody needs a laugh, and I think this will fit the bill.
For sure. Thank you so much, Cassie.
Thank you.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that CTN has to offer. And remember to like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.